All right, so you can see I've got that C-clip off, and it literally took just a second. I just needed two hands just to hold it still while I twisted it. And now I'm going to show you basically this piece. This piece has to lift off, and it is, as I said, these have a tendency to be stuck, and you have to be really careful. And I'm just sort of trying this right now to see, and it is not, as I suspected, it is not going to move. So I'm going to have to get my soldering iron here to just heat up that connection so that I can lift it off. So just to illustrate, all I'm doing here is literally just holding this soldering iron up against this joint here, and I'll just move it around from side to side, just all around, so I get some nice even heating there. It doesn't have to get, you know, crazy hot, but it does need to heat up a bit. And then once we've done that, I'll sort of hold it, you know, very gently in my hands out here, and pry it away. And voila, there it is, it's off. Earlier in my videos, I said I thought it looked like somebody may have done some re-greasing on this turntable in the past, and this confirms it, because what you can see here is there's some big globs of grease. Somebody tried to force some grease underneath this. It was probably sticking previously, as I suggested it does, because this is not normal to see big globs of grease in here like that. So so what we're going to do is I'm going to clean all this up. Again, clean out the inside of, you know, of this shaft. You can see there's a lot of stuff gunked up in there. So we're going to clean that all out. You know, clean up this old, you know, this shaft here, because again, you can see there's a lot of stuff, you know, dirty in there, and just clean, you know, just clean the surface there. You don't need this grease on here. I don't know. You know, somebody obviously was scared to take this off, so or couldn't get it off. You know, just as I showed, a little heat does the trick. It just, you know, just wiggle it around and it'll come right off. But this needs to be cleaned up. You don't need this in here. So I'll fix that up and get her back together. So here's some more evidence. Again, I mentioned earlier in the video, this one gets really gummed up, and even though I've used alcohol to clean all the other grease all over this machine, it won't take this off. It's super hard in there. So this is where, again, I had mentioned previously, you want to get some sort of solvent-based cleaner in order to clean this one up properly. So I'm just using this, and it'll do the trick, no problem at all, and it'll take it right off. But that's what I'm talking about in there, and that's why this particular part of the mechanism is so problematic, that grease is just baked in there. So so we're going to get that off here right away. All right, all the parts are now cleaned. Everything is cleaned out of there as good as it possibly can be. Except for one little piece of lint or hair or something that's there. Okay. Okay, all the parts are all now cleaned as good as possible anyways, and all the surface underneath where this mechanism will go back has all been cleaned out, and everything's ready to go back. Now, when you will have lifted off this part, you'll obviously there's the C-clip, but there's also a washer. There's actually two washers, and there's this little black one here. And what you'll notice about this one, if I can get it here, is that it is bent. It's curved, and that's done for a reason. It's done to push the mechanism up off of the platter so that it's not down there and rubbing. So we're going to put that one back on first, and we're going to make sure that the tipped up the ends that are tipping upward are on top when we put it down. So we're just going to drop that right down over this shaft over here. We're just going to push that right down like so. And now that one's on there. Next, we've got the other one here, just the regular flat washer. Get that on there as well. And then we're going to just drop down. I've got this shaft nice and greased up there. I'm actually going to put a little bit more grease on there. And this is just the synthetic grease again that we were using. I'm just going to push some underneath these washers. I don't know if this is necessary or not, but I'm just doing it anyway, just in case. Get that in there. And another little bit on the another little bit on the shaft. I just want more than is necessary here. Just for now, it'll push out, and then we'll clean it off afterwards. Just put it on there. Just want a nice coat of this grease. All right, and then our mechanism will go back like so. We're going to drop that right down on top of this shaft. And there we go. And the last step on there is to just hook this spring back into the hole right there. I can't do this with one hand, so I'm just going to put the camera down and do that, and then I'll come back. Okay, now everything's back on there. What I just remembered is in order to get this spring in, I actually had to just lift it back up and hook it first before I pushed it back down. But I'm sure you'd figure that part out on your own. Anyways, as you can see, this is super nice and loose now, and just this is flicking sort of on its own here, and that's exactly what it is supposed to do. So it is now in perfect working order. The sad part about this is, as I was when I first started working on these, I suspect a lot of these things went in the garbage because of that mechanism alone, which is kind of sad, because everything else on here is really serviceable, but that's a part that I suspect a lot of people wouldn't know about. This thing doesn't work at home. They won't take it to a shop because it's probably would have cost a lot of money, so they end up chucking it in the garbage, and it's takes 5 minutes to fix. So it's if you're having problems, then there is a really good chance that this is why, right here. So there you go, good as new.